You know, each time Jasmine opens her mouth, she's always contradicting herself. And there's always going to be a lie in some of the things she says. So we're about to debunk some of the lies that she said throughout her segment in 90 Day Diaries. But then also on top of that, we're also going to cover the conflict when it comes to Loren and Alex, when it comes to their parenting and also wanting to have their children on social media for monetization purposes, for career benefit. And then also Ari. Ari finally gone on a first date after her breakup with Benny M. So let's dive into this one, and we're going to start off light. We're going to start off with Ari herself in particular and her first date and break down the pros and cons of the situation.
Currently, Benny and I are separated. We are living in different apartments, living different lives, but we are still married because Benny refused to sign the divorce papers.
You know what's interesting though? When it comes to divorce, the person that always makes it hard to actually want to break up, to actually have the divorce, is always the person that seems to do this.
He refuses to talk to me about it at all. After years of being cheated on, my self-esteem took a major hit. I didn't feel worthy of love, and I just don't want to feel that way anymore.
The person that is always the one that cheated. I mean, obviously, we know that Benny has been accused multiple times by Ari for infidelity. And there's even been proof, to be fair, to a certain degree, right? So therefore, we know that this infidelity is more likely to be true. Despite the fact of how people feel about Ari, it doesn't change the fact that she was in a relationship with a man that still decided to marry her, still decided to have a child with her, and still decided to come to America, all for his own gain, okay? And now we're in a position where when it comes to the divorce, this man is making a divorce hard for her, despite the fact that the last time we saw these two was on the last resort, where he said that he was going to grant her this divorce. Fast forward, ladies and gentlemen, the last time they were on it, I believe this was probably in 2024. It might have been 2025, but the season itself would have definitely been filmed the year prior. We are now in 2026, and we're literally 2 weeks away from the next season of The Last Resort, and Ari's still in the same position where she's been unable to get a divorce from Benny. And like I said before, the person that always makes the divorce challenging most of the time is the one that was stepping out, the one that was doing the wrong in the relationship. You know what I mean? Now, of course, let's say he was having an affair and he wanted to leave her to marry his new woman, that would be a completely different situation. But when it's somebody that is a serial cheater, well, again, for some reason they have this thing. But then at the same time, we can argue that maybe the reason why he doesn't want to necessarily pull the plug yet on the divorce is because maybe he's afraid it might affect his stay in America, his current visa, because obviously sometimes these things can kind of affect you, but I don't know. Either way though, that's the situation, but let's continue with Ari here.
And I am ready to start diving back into the dating world. Hello! And I don't really know.
I must say that one of the biggest benefits of going for a breakup is the glow up. I don't know who has better glow ups, women or men, after a breakup. But I tell you this now, whenever it comes to a breakup, the glow up that men and women go through is insane. The only thing is though, is maintaining it. When I say maintain it, what I mean is, and I do find this more for women than I do for men. But when you go through a glow up due to the fact that it's from a heartbreak, when you finally find someone, the sad part is that some people end up actually going backwards on their glow up. They'll find someone, get confident in a relationship with somebody, and then after that, they stop maybe working out, or maybe stop doing their steps, or maybe stop eating what they were eating. They'll just stop whatever the hell they were doing to maintain and to progress this glow up. Because now they've got somebody, they sit back, relax, couple months in, all of a sudden now, you look a bit bigger than what you was before, or maybe your makeup, or maybe your hair treatment isn't as good as it used to be. During maybe your beard care is now poor because you've now got confidence because somebody actually wants to be with you. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, whatever glow up you go through after a breakup, maintain it even when you meet someone. Trust me, okay? Because it's just better for you, okay? And let's be real, the glow up that we go through does help us so much more with our mental state of mind as well. So keeping it up literally should be something that you should be looking to do regardless. But either way though, happy to see that she's obviously having her glow up, but let's continue.
Know what to expect. What do people do on first dates? Like, are people kissing on first dates? Like, what is expected on a first date?
Very, very good question. And I find that when people go on a first date after they haven't dated for a while, because maybe they've been in a relationship, or maybe they just haven't dated for whatever said reasons, some people do overthink that process of dating, especially people that have anxiety levels, okay? Especially people who are, even people that are extroverts. To be fair, I would say that introverts are more confident than extroverts personally, because introverts usually are people who are already comfortable and understand their own character, they understand who they are. Extroverts usually are people that usually are seeking, reassurance from the outside rather than within themselves. But just saying. Either way, though, the matter of fact that despite who you are, despite how long you've been single for, despite how long it's been since your first date, this is the best advice I promise you ever get. On your first date, just be you. Literally. The same thing that everybody tells us all the time. It's literally all we have to do. And when I say be you, I don't mean be you to a tame version. No, just be you. If you know that when you go out for a meal somewhere, if you know that you're the kind of person that's going to speak up if your food doesn't come out the way it needs to speak up, speak up. Show that person that this is the type of person you are. Don't stay quiet because you're trying to not scare them away, but you're showing that you're somebody that has a voice. No, be that person. If you're the kind of person for your first date, rather than going for a meal, you'd rather go for a hike. Hell, take that person, like, do it. Why not? Do it. Just be yourself. If you're the kind of person that's going to make dumb, cheesy, ridiculous jokes, maybe even dark jokes, hey, do it, because at least that person is getting to know you for you on that first date. And I would argue and say that people are more successful for a second date when they are themselves on the first date. And also the most important part is this, and this is something that I know a lot of men do, which they shouldn't do. It is always key to be yourself more than ever, because some people show up on a first date and they pretend to be this person that's got this money. They pretend to be this person that can take it on a date week after week after week. And then when they finally have you, all of a sudden, a few months later on, your woman's like, you don't take me out no more. Like, what's changed? And he's like, because I don't have no money no more. But what happened to the money I had before? I didn't really have it then, to be fair. I just pretended that I had it because I just wanted to bring you over. Now I've got you. I'm just being me. And then that's when women start to say, oh, men just do this and that. Listen, I'm going to tell you this now. If you're the man that continues to take you out at the very, very early stages, if you're a woman, please say to the guy, you do realize you don't have to do this all the time, right? See what he says. But if you're a guy, on the other hand, who feels the need to always take a woman out all the time and knowing that you cannot maintain it, don't do it. Because that's how you fall in that conversation where she says, you're not the same anymore. Which technically speaking, it is true. Because the saddest part is you present yourself as somebody that you're not, rather than somebody that who you are. So who you are on the very first date, the very second date, third date is very key to the foundation of how that person's going to view you for the foreseeable. Do you see what I'm saying? So hey, just do you, man. Do what you can maintain, which means being you. But nonetheless, though, let's continue.
Often that you meet somebody like that, and it puts me at ease. But I am worried that once he finds out that I'm not officially divorced, he's gonna see that as a red flag.
So let's talk about this. Why do people find it hard to... Why is it a bad thing if somebody says to you, yeah, I'm going for a divorce? I find that so strange. Because here's the thing. If I go on a first date with you, second date, third date, whatever, right? Even if I've now been dating you for a month, whatever, right? If you are in a situation where you are getting divorced, that's okay. Why? Well, because I'm not going to expect to want to propose to you after the first date, after the first month, after the second. But then again, though, there are some people in this world that do propose literally after 1 week, which is wild. But the moral of the situation is, like, if somebody is literally going through an ongoing situation with their divorce, nobody should be judged for that. It should never be seen as a red flag. Okay, unless there are other obstacles around it that then makes the whole divorce look a bit suspicious, then fair enough. But for the most part, people need to chill.
So am I allowed to ask if you would go on a second date with me if you had the option?
Yes, it was definitely very good. I would do it again.
I like the fact that she was more than happy to ask him, hey, are we going to go on a second date or not? Because sometimes it is easier for us to walk away from a date knowing that we're going to see that person or knowing that we're not going to see that person. Because therefore, we don't have to go home, sit on our phones, hoping this person's going to text us and let us know that they want to see us again. So to be honest with you, it is very, very key. And I think it's quite cool for somebody to ask you then and there. So am I going to see you again? You know what I mean? So at least you don't have to go home paranoid or overthinking or your anxiety kicking off or whatnot. Or even if you don't ask at the end of the date, I would say the text that you obviously make, the first one you make after it, or the phone call, whatever, should initially be simply saying, hey, I had a good time. I would like to see you again. Would you be up for it? Something like that. People should never prolong that conversation. So I do like the fact that she did ask that. Very, very key thing to do, because again, it helps other people not walk away having all this anxiety and etc. etc. Okay. Either way, though, that's the situation with Ari obviously right now on the 90-Day Diary. So we're now going to move on to Loren and Alex.
Perfect. But Alex has always been against the kids participating in stuff on social media. He thinks that they're too young. They don't understand it. But the reality is...
So where's the lie? You're right. They are too young. They don't understand it.
If they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. After thinking about it for a little bit, I've decided that I'm just going to go ahead and shoot the sizzle reel behind Alex's back.
Wow. Great parenting. Great parenting. Love the teamwork. So you know your husband isn't going to be happy with it, but you're going to do it behind his back anyway, in the hopes that once you do it, he's going to change his mind. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I am a good believer that sometimes act first, find out what's happening after. I am a good believer in that in certain situations. Parenting, no, because you're supposed to be a team. But hey, Loren will do what Loren wants to do.
I ask him first, it's going to be an immediate no. Hi. This is a big opportunity for the kids if they want to explore this kind of job in the future.
It's a good opportunity to put your kids on social media in case they want to explore it in the future. Right. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. At the end of the day, if they're going to explore in the future, they'll do it, and they'll do it then with whatever confidence that they have. You putting them in front of the camera as a kid right now, where's the healthiness in that? The way Loren is thinking is mind-boggling, and it gets worse.
In my back, you're doing this stuff. Loren has a pattern on when she feels like I might say no to something, then she just does it, and it's just sneaky to do it that way.
I don't want to do it. I'm not going to be.
No, that for sure. I'm not gonna force them. That's when I try to say a sentence, you need to shut up.
You know, on first watch, I was like, damn, Broski came in hard. He came in harsh. But then I thought about it. It is very clear that each time they have conversations and she's trying to get her own way, she won't let him finish his sentence. So I guess they're at the point in the relationship now where they understand that when she's gone too far, he's just going to say, shut up. So some people may view and be like, damn, that's very disrespectful to your woman. You can't talk to her like that. And don't get me wrong, I do agree. But some couples have this weird balance, okay? They have this thing where they know that this person's gonna push, but when this person finally says this, that's when that person stops. And for some people, it is literally shut up. For some people, it could be worse, to be honest with you. Again, I wouldn't recommend this type of strategy in my opinion, because I definitely wouldn't want to be getting to a point where I'm telling my person, shut up. Personally, I'd rather use another word. In fact, to be honest, I'd rather use my face. I'm more of a body language kind of person. If you're doing too much, I'm the kind of person that will literally look at you and be like, you're doing too much. But I'm not actually saying it, do you see what I'm saying? With my mouth. I just look at you like, To be fair though, it's probably way much more intense in person. Trying to role play it without actually being in the situation is a bit hard. But in the situation, I know I'm just like, You know what I mean? Like, are you done? You need to calm yourself down. But sometimes if I have to be vocal, I'll be like, hold on a minute. Stop. Let me speak. 100%. But either way, the expression comes with it regardless. Yeah, if you can't read my body language, then we got issues, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't recommend this one, the way they go about it, but I understand that that's just their balance. So therefore, I'm not really going to sit here and say, oh my God, he's doing this and that, because clearly that's the way they go about it. And for them, it seems to work in a healthy way. Yeah, it is what it is.
This whole social media thing is going to be an ongoing thing, I'm sure. But what bothers me more is that we're not on the same page. So moving forward, we got to be a team in this.
You're that this could be huge for my career. For what it's worth, I will never force our kids to do something they don't want to do, I promise.
All right, cool. Let's break down that last little bit there, because that is so key. 3 things, I think. So the first thing that was said here by Alex is that if we're going to do this, we have to do this as a team. That's the most important thing moving forward, okay? Then after that, she said, she then said, this is also going to be so good for my career. So basically, you want to use your kids for the benefit of your own career. You want to monetize your kids for the benefit of your career. Then in the same conversation, she says, but moving forward, I'll never force the kids to do anything. Does she not understand that putting your kids in front of a camera is already forcing them to do something? Let's just call it what it is, right? And like, listen, you putting your kids in a situation where they may feel that they have no choice. But let's be real, some of us as kids, our parents would tell us to do something and we don't want to do it, but we'll do it anyway because we feel like we have to, because of the way our parents are, right? So really and truly, kids are always put in a situation where we feel like we're forced to do things, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if the mom says, hey, come up here, hey guys, we're going to film a video for this and that or whatever, those kids don't even know that they're actually doing it for whatever purpose you're talking about. So you're actually already forcing them anyway without them even knowing that you're forcing them. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, It's like sometimes, you know, somebody can say to you, hey, do you mind if I don't know, take a picture for this and that? And you're like, oh yeah, cool, 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 cool. And all of a sudden they post it on their page. You're like, hold on a minute. You didn't tell me that this was going on your page. You asked me this without giving me the full context. So when you say to your kids, hey, let's go film a video, and they say, yeah, of course, mommy, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? They're only doing it because they're just being supportive to mommy or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? So really and truly, this is why it's important to wait for the kids to be old enough to understand what they're signing up to. You're asking kids to do something when they're not old enough to understand what they're signing up to. So therefore, you are still technically forcing them. And that's the point I believe Alex was trying to make to begin with anyway. But nonetheless, though, Loren will do what Loren wants to do. And it's so unfortunate because her and Alex know what it's like to be under the spotlight of a camera. They know the repercussion that comes with it, and yet they want to put their kids in the same firing line. Talk about a calamity. But nonetheless though, I'm going to move on to the next one, and this one here is all about Jasmine.
He's a very traditional father, and he is very fixated into me being the traditional housewife. Had to change the way I dress. I cannot show up like cleavage are gone, and I'm just baking, cooking, and cleaning. And
No.
I was vegan for 12 years, but when I got pregnant, Matt didn't want me to follow my vegan lifestyle.
Well, the first line we're going to talk about here is the first bit where she says that now I'm with him and I've got to live like a Romanian woman and XYZ. I can no longer show my cleavage. I can never show my skin. That's why I'm always covered up. And she made sure to dress this way. I want you to remember this, because this is what we're going to debunk as a big lie. Then also here, let me replay it back to remind myself what she said.
But when I got pregnant, Matt didn't.
The whole vegan thing. I do not for one bit I don't believe at all anymore that this woman is ever vegan, because no one that's a vegan, right, okay, everybody is a vegan or vegetarian or pescatarian for different reasons, okay, and carnivores for different reasons, right? Now obviously when it comes to people that are vegans, vegetarians or plant-based, usually some of them it's due to just animal cruelty. Some of them it's due to the fact that they just don't like the texture of meat. All right. And for some of them, it could just be because they're just allergic to certain things and it's better if they just stay away from certain foods, so they choose this lifestyle, right? This is what it comes down to, right? It's like for me, for example, I'm a pescatarian. I'm a pescatarian by choice. I mean, I've been one now for about 10 years, maybe, I don't know, probably about 10 years, I think, yeah. Purely because there was one day, or no, there was a whole period of time where I just felt always tired, sluggish, and just, ugh. And then I went to work one day, and at the time, the ladies there who worked there, most of them were like vegetarians, vegans, and some were flexitarians, yeah. And they just explained to me that obviously when you eat meat, obviously on a daily basis, you're literally clogging up your system. Therefore, it's going to make you feel tired. So therefore, you need to allow it to, you need your body to reset, to flush it out. So therefore, they said you should go on a vegetarian diet for the rest of the week so your body can flush out all the excess meat that stays in your body that usually you have to go to the doctors for them to it out of you, in case you don't know. Yeah, I know, this isn't pretty, is it? But I'm just letting you know, okay? And I remember then I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can do that because, you know, I like my meats. But luckily, I like fish. So they said, why don't you be a pescatarian instead for the week and see how you get on? Little do you know, I went from a week to all of a sudden I was a pescatarian for a whole 6 months. And I felt great. And I was like, I can't have chicken and steak anymore. But to be fair, just to make sure it wasn't in my head, you know what I mean, I decided to go back to meat for the remainder of that year, and I went completely downhill. I crashed. So therefore, I said, you know what? With that being said, I'm going to be a pescatarian moving forward, and never looked back ever since. So obviously, there's a reason behind it, right? With Jasmine, I don't believe the way she just went from a vegan straight to be a carnivore, just like that, due to pregnancy and due to the fact that. No, forget the pregnancy part. Due to the fact that Matt asked her, I find that so sus, because anybody that will change their mind about going back to eating meat or whatever, usually would do it for a reason that is personal to them. She's saying she changed because Matt asked her. Am I really here to believe that to be true? But listen, let's play some more.
Didn't want me to follow my vegan lifestyle and diet. He's like, you have to eat meat for the baby. So I eat meat. And I'm eating meat now. I'm a carnivore. In the past, dressing differently, speaking differently, hosting, cooking, baking, cleaning, serving him, you name it, is something that I have never ever done for anyone.
Right, so this is where now I'm going to debunk these lies. This woman is now coming out here saying that she's always completely dressed up. She's always covering up her body. This is how she is now. You know, she is conservative. She has to make sure her body's always covered up and cleavage, the whole shebang, right? All right, cool. So here's the thing. I decided to go onto her social media page. You know, I looked at it and I was like, okay, let's have a look. Let's see. Well, oh, nope. Look what we got over here. Cleavage. But I was like, okay, maybe that was just, real quick. we got a whole bikini, and I'm just looking through it. I'm thinking, oh look, another one. I was like, this woman is really out here trying to lie to us. Then I thought to myself, hold on a minute, didn't she once upon a time have that one website? You know, the website where, you know, thirsty men go to because, I guess, well, thirsty married men go to view other women. I was like, oh yeah, doesn't she have one of these pages? So I thought, okay, hold on a minute, let's just have a look if it's still there. And as you saw, it was still there. And it's gonna open or what? There we go, boom, bam. And then as you can see, she is happily still active on here doing her thing. So really and truly, am I here to really believe that this woman has changed her ways in terms of the way she claims to have changed her ways with her attitude, that she's now a woman that is in a position where she has to cook, she has to do these things? Darling, you're cooking because you want to cook. You're keeping the house clean because you want to keep the house clean, okay? You are literally doing all these things actually because you want to. But this whole BS about the fact that you can no longer dress the way you used to dress, and now this is the way you dress at all times, covering yourself up, is a bunch of lies, clearly. Somebody tell me, where am I lying? Am I moving mad? Either way though, let's continue because Jasmine's always got an issue with something.
I want to prove to him and to his family that this is the new me. This is a new version of Jasmine. But why do you keep leaving me alone with your mom? Take care of her, man. This is way too much for me. You know how she is now. Don't pretend.
I'm trying to prove myself to your mom, and then all of a sudden you're saying, why are you leaving me with your mom? But what's the big fuss about? Let's get into it.
If I have sex with her, if I'm taking her off.
I know, she likes to ask those things.
Like, how much is asking like if we have sex? We just bought a house.
I mean, listen, to be honest, if each time I see Jasmine on screen, I don't believe anything that goes on. I don't even believe that she even has an issue with Matt's mum. I reckon they probably all get along completely fine, to be honest with you. Because honestly, like, especially when she does that soft voice. Hey guys, you know, in the in the words of Alex of this episode, girl, shut the F up. But with a bit more dramaticness. You and your liars are always moving mad. But nonetheless though, maybe you folks believe that this whole situation with Jasmine and Matt's mum is a real situation. If you do, let me know in the comment section, okay? And if you think that she's not lying and this is how she's always dressing these days, then let me know again in the comment section. But as far as I'm concerned, the woman can only lie and can never really be truthful. But with that being said though, thank you so much for your lovely time, and please do make sure you hype the video on your way out. You like, you subscribe, and well, have a great day. Why not?